the Lombardi Line. This is Hour 2, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, alongside former NFL executive Michael Lombardi, Stormy Buonantony with you. Coming up in a little bit, we'll have Harry Gagnan, former sportsbook supervisor, host of the Against All Odds podcast, join us as well. Get into some NBA as well as NFL conversation and have a day. Tyrese Maxey, Michael Lombardi, my goodness, the young stud putting the team on his back yesterday as the 76ers avoid elimination and bring the series 3-2.
You know, they got that one thing they needed, right? They got Josh Hart to miss that free throw, and that opened the door for them to tie it with the great three-point launch from almost midcourt. But the 4-point play where Mitchell Robinson fouls him on was another gift, but he made the shot. I know a lot of people on Twitter think that he traveled. I don't know. When do they call traveling in the NBA? I mean, you could take traveling's been defined by the Euro step, right? Oh, just take a Euro step. There you go. Thank you very much. Look, I think the kid's fabulous. I mean, he's been this way since he started. You know, people don't realize when he came to Philly, it was the first year Daryl Morey was in Philly. And Morey had really nothing to do with this pick. The 76ers guaranteed the Maxey camp that they would pick him, and his ceiling or his floor was 20. And so he came out in the draft. And this kid put his career on his shoulders. He went out and worked hard. You know, Doc Rivers didn't play him very much. Kind of stayed away, and then in the playoffs his rookie year, he had to play him because of the injuries that they were going through. Shocking. And the kid started to really come along. And then the next year he got better. And then this year, now, you know, he's become the most improved player in the league. And it's all due to his work ethic. It's all due to his energy level. It's all due to his kind of competitive nature, which this team needs somebody who's not afraid to challenge Embiid and take over the game. Tobias Harris is too nice of a man. He's not going to do that, you know. And so they needed somebody like this kid, and this kid saved their season because they're one missed free throw away from all of us discussing what are they going to do.
That logo 3 to force overtime was a thing of beauty, and he was asked after the game what was going through his mind. Take a listen.
Going through my mind right there was just find a way to survive. Like I said, our season's on the line. I mean, like, I trust my work. I trust what I've done all my life, and just try to get to a spot and raise up and knock a shot down.
How does it feel to get this one?
Mandatory, like we had to. Season on the line, and we fought for 53 minutes. Never gave up, even when we were down late. Guys still went out there and made plays, and it was big time.
He scored or assisted on 15 of the 76ers' 25 points in clutch time, the final 7 points that force overtime. His 46 points on the night, the most by a 76er player to avoid elimination in a franchise history. And as we get to what's on Michael's mind today, Michael, it all centers around his comparison to another 76ers star and legend of the past.
You know, I loved Allen Iverson. You know, he came out in the same draft that Kobe Bryant came out in, and Iverson was the first pick overall by the 76ers, kind of a, from Norfolk, Virginia, down there in the Tidewater area, great high school corner, unbelievable quickness, unbelievable athleticism. And when he came into Philly, we saw all those things, but they could never quite get the team right around him, and they hired Larry Brown, and Larry Brown almost traded Iverson. Had a trade actually worked out. Matt Geiger, the former forward center for the 76ers, vetoed the trade. He had that clause in his contract, or Iverson would have been a Piston for most of his career. And so he vetoed the trade, and they found a way to make it work with Iverson. As Larry Brown told me, he said, look, I just went to Iverson and said, we got to stop playing 1-on-5. And if we make you the 2 guard, it'll become a 5-on-5 game. And that's what they did. And he shined. But he didn't shine in the areas where Maxey shines. Iverson was a volume shooter. You know, there were too many 12 for 30 games, 9 for 30. Now, he'd make 2 of those shots that win the game because he was great. Mm-hmm. But this kid, Maxey, may not have the very great first step that Iverson had, because who has that? But he has everything else, plus he's a better shooter. And I just think the question is, for the 76ers is, can we stop trying to build a team around Embiid and build a team around Maxey? Because that's what they're going to have to do. That doesn't mean you trade Embiid, but I think what we saw last night, Stormy, was the roles have been now changed. The roles, like the big dog just came out and hunted. He won the game for him. That's something that Embiid has not been able to do in a playoff game. If you look at his numbers in winner-take-all games, they haven't been impressive. And last night, even though he had a triple-double, should have had a quadruple-double because he had 9 turnovers, they missed 2, is the fact that he didn't play his best game when they needed it.
And what makes that comp, I think, so obvious, Michael, is the fourth quarter play where we talk so much about the Joel Embiid struggles in the fourth quarter. Tyrese Maxey looked like he had new legs, like he was as fresh as could be, ready to go. And with the Allen Iverson comp, obviously there's a long way to go in terms of the career. Like Allen Iverson's an MVP, an 11-time All-Star, a numerous-time scoring champ in the league. But it was really cool because Allen Iverson was even on a podcast last week, and he was asked if Tyrese Maxey is the closest thing the 76ers have had to him in that uniform. And he said, that's a fact. He's bigger and stronger, but he's got that same attitude. And I think that's so cool to have somebody like him say, yes, that's a fact. Tyrese Maxey is something special.
He is, and I agree with what Alan said. He does have his attitude. He has that. One thing about Iverson, he may not have liked practice, but he liked playing, and he liked competing. And that's what the Sixers haven't really had is true competitors. But whether it's been Ben Simmons, they had it with Jimmy Butler, they let it go. But with Maxey, they have it. And Maxey wasn't shy. He took over, and Embiid had no problem turning it back over to him to let him kind of win the game. Because we know that, Embiid's got the bad knee, he's tired, he's winded. And Maxey, he reminded me last night when I was sitting with Jimmy Sexton at the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia with Millie, Jimmy Sexton, Scottie Pippen, and Horace Grant. And I asked Scottie Pippen, I said, do you ever get tired? And Scottie Pippen said, to be tired of what? Like the idea of being tired from running never entered his mind, right? He was never exhausted. He was never winded. And whereas Embiid always is, Maxey never is either. He's not tired ever. 52 minutes last night and getting stronger.
Then the other game of the night, how surprised were you to see not only the Bucks stave off elimination themselves, but to beat the Pacers by 23, a complete no-show from Indy?
Yeah, I was surprised by that, but not. I mean, look, I think
without their
JVT
top
said it
two
really
scoring
well
players, though, to win by 23?
But, I mean, did you see the Bobby Portis stat line that he had in there? And when after getting thrown out, he came back on a mission. I think the one thing we can't question is the talent of the Bucks. We can question whether, they're missing their starters, but I think the hardest thing, Stormy, for teams, young teams like Indiana, is to maintain the level of excellence, right? I think that's where Oklahoma City is really remarkable, is to be able to go sweep a team. Same thing with the Minnesota team. As young as you are, you can sweep. You can maintain. There's no satisfaction. There's no comfort, right? And I think Indiana probably started reading the press clippings and got too comfortable. So I look, Indiana's got to win it now. I mean, because I don't think they're gonna get 2 starters back, and they're gonna have to win it now. And this will be the next game in Indiana at the Fieldhouse will be the biggest one of the year.
The Cavs also held off the Magic 104-103 in Game 5 to take a 3-2 series lead. Cleveland topping 100 points for the first time in the series and has generally looked very different at home than on the road. And then coming up tonight, we got the Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. C's laying 14. No Jimmy Butler or Terry Rozier again. And then Mavericks, Clippers, no Kawhi in a pivotal Game 5, out with right knee inflammation for the third time. Luka Doncic dealing with a sprained knee. He is probable. We'll see if Harry Gagnan has any opinion on those games when he joins us coming up in a little bit. But one more thing in the NFL I want to touch on here before we have to hit the break, Michael, is the report that 2 offers did come through to the New England Patriots for that number 3 overall pick this weekend in the draft. The Giants offered up their number 6 overall pick and a 2025 first rounder. The Vikings, their 11th pick, the 23rd in the first round this year, a 2025 first round pick, and they'd also get 2 mid-round picks. But the thing that stood out to me here was the Giants being involved to trade up to number 3, as we had all discussed leading up to. But then we heard Schefter on McAfee earlier this week saying his belief was it was always Joe Alt in their mind. You're not trying to trade up to number 3 for Joe Alt. You're trading up for Drake May. What are we talking about here?
And they turned it down because they knew it was Drake May. If they would have thought it was going to be Joe Alt, they would have gladly gone to 6, right? I'm not saying they would have that, but they knew it was for Drake May. That's what they said after the draft. They said after the draft, New England did, that they felt reinforced with their evaluation of Drake May by two teams trying to trade up to get him. And then here's the other thing. No one asked this question. Everybody just is allowed to say stuff and nobody follows up on it. Okay, so if New England took May and you really wanted all, why didn't you offer the fourth pick overall, the Arizona Cardinals? Why didn't you offer them the 6th and a 2025 first-round pick?
Correct.
Alt was on the board at 4. I promise you, Monty would have taken that deal because he would have gone to 6. You would have picked Alt. You would have told him, he would have made you tell him who you're going to pick. So now he's going to have his chance. He's either going to get Harrison or Neighbors. And you knew Jim Harbaugh wasn't taking a wide receiver. You just knew that. So, why wouldn't Monty take that pick? There was no way. He was going to get Harrison at 6. So none of this makes sense. This is all Watergate, Stormy. This is the cover-up. This is all it is. It's Watergate. We need Ehrlichman and Haldeman. You and I could be Bernstein and Woodward, and we can investigate. This is what it is.
Quickly, were you surprised?
You don't even know any of those names I
yes,
just cited.
I do. Yes, I do. Deep
names.
Throat. I know it all,
good.
Michael. But what I was going to say is, were you surprised at all that the Patriots didn't bite, especially that Vikings offer?
No, I think because they wanted May, and I think they knew at the end of the day they couldn't leave the draft. They go back to 11. They weren't going to get anybody they loved.
I know Watergate, Michael. I'm a journalism major, okay? Some things do click.
I didn't. I wasn't. It was more of an age thing than an intelligence thing.
This is the Lombardi Line with former NFL executive Michael Lombardi. Now here is your host, Stormy Bonatoni, on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It is time to land a VSiN Pro subscription right now. Your ticket to Insider Insights, exclusive data, and winning strategies. Because for a limited time only, we're offering this annual subscription at an unbeatable price. While it's usually $240, you can grab it now for $199. Sign up today. We're also giving you an extra 2 months for free. So 14 months of VSiN Pro access for less than 50 cents a day when you use our promo code Lombardi. With VSiN Pro, you'll gain instant access to our daily best bets with the leaderboard to see who has the best win percentage in ROI, 19 hours of live programming each and every day, including expert breakdowns and in-game analysis, proven betting systems from professional handicappers, and our exclusive betting splits to show you where the money and bets are moving for every game. Visit vsin.com/subscribe today to claim your 14 months of VSiN Pro for $199. You have to use that promo code Lombardi, though. vsin.com/subscribe.
Do you disagree with these takes?
No way.
No way.
Or do you approve?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt in my mind.
No diggity, no doubt. It's time to ask Michael Lombardi. No way or no doubt.
All right, Michael, let's get into it. When he really likes something, he hits us with a no doubt. If he's not on board, we get a no way. Let's start with the top of the draft this past Thursday, where we saw 6 quarterbacks taken in the top 12. No way or no doubt, this is more a reflection of the poor draft class that is coming in 2025 than it is the studliness of all 6 of these guys being first-round picks.
No doubt. No doubt it is. Because I think at the end of the day, we know history tells. JVT was saying this, and he wasn't believing there were going to be 5 drafted because history says that go back to 1983 that 5 were drafted and 2 of them were successful and 3 didn't. Mm-hmm. So there's history on your side. And I think ultimately because of that, because there isn't always that, there's an issue. And I think the quarterbacking position in college, we're moving a little bit away from the RPO game in the pro level, and it hasn't quite moved that way in the college level. And so it's a little bit of a cluster that they're trying to sort their way through. But no doubt that the next year's quarterback class may not be as productive as this one. No question about it.
We talked a lot off the start of the show about the Philadelphia 76ers. I think you'll like this one. No way or no doubt, Michael. Tyrese Maxey is the most important player on this 76ers squad.
No F doubt. There's no question, right? This is a no F doubt. Now, you get higher than that. This is more than a no doubt. This is a no F doubt. I can't say the word.
No doubt. I love it.
Yeah, it's an up there. We have very few no F, but I think it's very clear. He's everything you want in a leader. He works hard. He's demanding. He doesn't do it in an offensive way, right? He just plays his game. The other thing about him is he doesn't force the game either. Mm-hmm. He doesn't force the game either. And his teammates, you could just feel the respect they have for him because, like he said after that game yesterday, I put the work in. Like, he puts the work in. I remember after his rookie year, he said, I'm going to take a week off and get right back at it. And Doc Rivers was saying, no, you want to take more rest. Now, he's talented with an overachiever mindset. That combination is deadly.
Put the team on his back and a dagger in the chest of the Knicks, who now have to go back to Philly as a 3.5-point dog. 76ers with an opportunity to tie the series up at 3-3. They are currently 3-1 to come all the way back from down 3-1. We'll see if they can get it done.
That? Would you bet that?
Well, Michael, I tried to talk you into the plus 650 that was available yesterday. That number now cut in half, so I don't know anymore. Let's go to the NFL, where Falcons GM, Super Bowl winning GM, Terry Fontenot, suggests after drafting Michael Penix. See what I did there for you? He suggested that he could sit for a long time, telling reporters, if you believe in a quarterback, you have to take him. And if he sits 4 or 5 years, that's a great problem to have because we're doing so well at the position. No way or no doubt, Michael, Kirk Cousins will play through the entire 4-year deal with the Falcons.
No way. Because it's really a 3-year deal. Okay, it's a 3-year deal that has outs in it. Now, he will leave lingering bonus away. And I think the question is, if he plays 3 years and they don't win, it's not successful. This was a non-successful pick. Because, again, everybody's losing sight of the problem. It's the same thing with the Montez Sweat thing. Like, Ryan Poles chose to trade for Sweat. He could have signed him with a lot of money. And he has a ton of cap room. And nobody was going to lose it, but he gave up a really huge pick. Super Bowl winning GM Terry Fontenot gave up a valuable pick when he could have just picked him anyway and not spent $100 million. He could have put $100 million into his defense. So this isn't about who's the better. This isn't about a talent evaluation. This is about a team building evaluation and how to maximize your assets the best. And this is failed miserably by Super Bowl winning GM Terry Fontenot.
You're not going to get an argument out of me. Back to the NBA. LeBron wrote on X last night, I've heard lots of reports about my future. I said it after the game and I'll say it again. I do not know yet, as I am only thinking about spending time with my family and friends. Right. When I know after speaking with the fam, my counsel, as well as my representation about it, then you guys will know. Until then, shh emoji. No way or no doubt, LeBron James will play for the Lakers next season. Michael, he'll be back. He'll opt in.
Well, I just did Bill Simmons' podcast today with the great Tate Frazier. And Bill Simmons, who's obviously, I asked him that question. I said, do you think the 76ers could make a play for LeBron and obviously draft Bronny? And his answer was no, he really thinks that he wants to stay in Los Angeles. He's building a big home, yada, yada, yada. And then I'm reading on Twitter where it's expected that Darvin Ham is going to get fired and that LeBron wants J.J. Redick to be the head coach. So I would say, no doubt, LeBron plays for the Lakers next year. I don't see how it works, but, for LeBron to sit there and say he hasn't decided is a little bit taking us as being stupid, right? Like, we know he wants to play, and he knows the landscape of the league, and he's played general manager more than Will Hill's been the general manager of the Lakers. I mean, he's played GM quite a bit. So, don't tell us that. You're going to play. You want to play with your son. If the Lakers take Bronny and his 4.5 average per game at USC last year, good. Go ahead. We'll see what the team looks like as it moves forward. But I think Darvin Ham is going to be the problem here, and he's going to be gone. And if the reports are accurate that he wants J.J. Redick, we'll see a coaching change.
Yeah, and Michael, you're right. He loves L.A., and he loves being part of the news cycle. That's why we're talking about it. Cowboys defensive star Micah Parsons and reigning offensive rookie of the year C.J. Stroud teamed up for some truly entertaining draft content over the weekend for Bleacher Report. Here's one snippet for your enjoyment from Parsons on the strength of the NFC East.
NFC South, I think we're going up there with AFC North on the best division in football.
Some would argue that's the NFC East.
On paper, last year, we were argued the best division in football.
No, sir.
Going into last year, no one in the planet, except for Micah Parsons, thought the NFC East was better than the AFC North. You can't argue that. I can, bro, unless you're delusional. Going into last year, we have better teams than y'all right now.
CJ Stroud hitting him with a delusional. No way or no doubt, Michael. Micah Parsons is right. The NFC East is a better division than the AFC North.
North or South? Because Stroud's in the South.
South.
I mean, there's no chance they're better.
Well,
the
he
AFC North
thinks Micah Parsons thinks they're better than both with his comments there.
Well, there's no chance to now. Okay, let's go over it. The AFC South has Houston, good team, right? So let's say Houston. I don't think Houston's as good as Philly. So let's give the East there. Dallas is better than Indy, I think. I think that's fair to say that, right? Dallas is better than Tennessee, and Dallas is better than Tennessee, Indy. Who am I missing here, Stormy? The South. I'm missing one team there. Jacksonville. I think Dallas is better than those three. But the Giants and Washington aren't better than Jacksonville. The Giants and Washington aren't better than Tennessee, are better than Indy. So I would say 3-2 in favor of the AFC South.
Well, like what CJ Stroud's argument there is that he's like, I think that the AFC South is contending with the AFC North as the best division in football. And Parsons is saying, it's the NFC East. What are you talking about? The NFC East, like on paper, going into last year, we were the best. What are we talking about here? If CJ Stroud scored low on whatever the S2 cognition test is, like, let me see what Micah Parsons scored on that. Like, I love CJ Stroud's delusional comment. That was too good. Last one here real quickly. No way or no doubt, Michael. Tom Brady's Netflix roast will be must-see TV.
No doubt. I mean, look, I know Belichick set it out to Los Angeles to do it. Is it live or are they taping this? I mean,
it's
first
live
of all,
on Netflix.
Oh, wow. It's live on Netflix. Can you even have a roast anymore? Did you ever watch some of those Dean Martin roasts, Stormy, that were back in the 70s and 80s? I mean, they're not politically correct. You couldn't get away with it. There's no chance you could say some of that. So I don't know what a roast is in this era today.
No,
I really
Michael.
don't.
They're still freaking terrible. Like, I used to watch those Dean Martin ones. My dad had them all on VHS, so I'd watch those all the time. And I've seen plenty of the New Age roasts as well. They go in. They say everything wrong, inappropriate, morally bankrupt. It's hysterical. And so I am so curious to hear what Bill Belichick has to say, what Julian Edelman has to say. There are some studs that are going to be on this panel, as well as the comedian. So I agree. No doubt about it. Must see TV. We'll be right back on the Lombardi Line.
This is the Lombardi Line with former NFL executive Michael Lombardi. Now here is your host, Stormy Bonatoni, on VSiN, the sports betting network.
If you're not familiar with the website, VSiN.com is a fully loaded one-stop shop for all things betting. You want daily plays or series bets for the NBA and NHL postseason? We've got you covered. Best bets and in-season futures opportunities in MLB as well. Plus, with the draft in the rear view, we're not giving you draft winners and losers, but each team and division breakdowns examining how the draft might impact market shifts and teams or players getting bet. Plus, I'm going to plug myself here a little bit. For anybody interested in spring football, because this sport is year-round, I've been doing weekly write-ups on Fridays, breaking down all 4 UFL games each week. 3-1 last week. 3 games over 500 for the season. Let's see if we can keep it rolling as we welcome you back to the Lombardi Line alongside Michael Lombardi, Stormy Bonatoni with you, and we welcome in now via the Progressive Guest Line. Great friend of the show, Harry Gagnan, back in his usual Wednesday spot, host of the Against All Odds podcast with cousin Sal. You can always catch him on X at AAO Harry. What's going on, my friend? How are we doing today?
Hey, what's up, guys? And hey, happy Kentucky Derby week, right? This is going to be fun on Saturday. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, no question about it. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, look, me and Mike's good buddy, Michael's good buddy, cousin Sal, we're going to be at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club doing another watch party for the Derby. It's from 3 to 6. $25 gets you in the door with a wristband. You get some free drinks included, and also free buffet, so you can't pass that up. At Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club, right on the Strip, right behind the link. Anybody in town, you want to find a place to come over there.
Well, I know that now that Bruce is in Europe and you're busy here in America, you've had time to analyze all the horses. So what's your tip of the Derby this year? Are you on the Mystic Dan program? Are you on the Dornach program? Which one are you on?
You know what? This is what
Sierra
I like.
Leone,
Now,
is that one you're on?
I am on that horse. I am Sierra Leone is the 2 horse. I'm going to be doing, I got 4 horses total. Exacta boxing them, trifecta boxing them, superfecta boxing them. The 2, 4, 8, 17. You mentioned the 2, Michael. Sierra Leone at 3-1 right now. Great trainer in Chad Brown. Since November 5th, Sierra Leone has ran 4 races and has won 3 of them, and the other race was a second. I'm taking the 4, Catching Freedom at 8-1. Flavian Pratt, the jockey, won the Derby in 2019 on Country House, and then number 8, Just a Touch, at 10-1. Brad Cox, and also the trainer of Catching Freedom, is the trainer for Just a Touch. Give me that horse as well. I'm going to put the 17 in there. I know the 17 spot. The 17 hole has never won the Kentucky Derby, but Fierceness is the favorite at 5-2. The main reason why I'm taking them is that horse is because of the jockey, John Velasquez, who has won the Derby 3 times, and his last time he won it was in 2020 on Authentic, and won the Florida Derby already this year. So give me the 2, 4, 8, 17. Box them any which way you want.
Love boxes. I'm a big trifecta box girl myself. I got to tell you, though, looking at the names.
That's a shocking. You two would agree on some form of a trifecta. Like, that's a shocker that you two would be right down that road.
With Stormy telling me that, I can only imagine some of the bad tracks that she's bet at.
Oh, come on. I'm a Del Mar girl. Let me live my life. Jeez.
Del Mar's good.
Go ahead.
No Los Alamitos?
I have not.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
But I was just going to say, looking at the Kentucky Derby names this year, because that's what, I'm not a horse racing expert. I like to have a little fun with it. I listen to the smart people like you and like Mike Somich on our network who know what they're doing with this stuff. But I like to throw out a flyer on a fun name. And I was pretty disappointed in the names in this year's field. Although in the also eligible category, saw Mugatu. I'm a big Zoolander fan as well. So maybe that's the way we throw it on. The long shot, 50-1. Just throwing it out there. Remember, everybody, too, with DraftKings going into the Kentucky Derby, if you use the promo code VSiN Horse on the DK Horse app, you get an awesome bonus right now, 100% deposit bonus up to $250 when you opt in there. So pretty good stuff. Try to take advantage of those bonuses when you can.
That Lombardi guy, by the way, he's so hot right now.
He's so actor / model. And not the other way around.
Right?
Yeah, really. I haven't, I love watching the horses run. I really do. I wish I knew more about it. I have to call a couple of my friends who are experts to kind of give me an idea. But, I think to me, a lot of this plays into the forecast. It's supposed to be hot at 80 degrees and so this is going to be a fast track. And so it's with 20 horses, it's always challenging to see. But I don't think there's any. One of the regrets, I told this to Stormy, is never going, as I drove from Lexington to Louisville when I was on the road scouting, was never stopping and see Secretariat, Big Red. I regret not just seeing that horse in the flesh.
Yeah. Best time ever by far in the Derby.
This year is the 150th Run for the Roses. Go ahead, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Well, I was going to shift gears a little bit. So you watched the draft, Harry. You saw all that, right? So what, in your infinite wisdom of studying the draft and seeing who made plays, what are your 2 favorite draft props as a result of it? And did you bet anything in the draft? Did you listen to us on the 6 quarterbacks, or did you go anywhere down that road there?
You know what? I did okay. I broke even on the draft pretty much. Obviously people didn't see that Penix thing happening quarterback-wise a lot. So the over-under was 4.5 on quarterback, so it went over on that. But I did okay. I did my best bet, though, overall, like I gave out on the show with you guys a couple weeks back, was at minus. It went to minus 105. I got it at minus 110. Kansas City to select a wide receiver with their first pick, and of course they take Xavier Worthy out of Texas and win the trade with Buffalo. I really like that a lot. So I did capitalize on that one. But I do have, now that we know who's where and everything like that, I do like a couple plays. The numbers have already come out. I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors of the Giants to go under 840.5 receiving yards. Look, he's a tremendous athlete. We know this. Fast, strong, great hands. But unfortunately, his quarterback, in my opinion, and a lot of others, is garbage. Daniel Jones has gone over 3,000 yards just once in the last 4 years and the Giants now no longer have Saquon Barkley to keep the defense honest either. So, plus, these are a couple numbers here that are pretty astonishing for an NFL franchise. But the Giants have not had a wide receiver to have more than 60 receptions, guys, since 2020. And a receiver to have more than, not even 1,000, a receiver to have more than 800 yards since Eli was the quarterback back in 2018. Boy, those numbers are sad. So I'm going to go, even though I love Neighbors, I love his size and everything, I'm going to go under 840.5 yards because of Daniel Jones.
You are preaching to the choir. I'm not going to say that either one of us is the president of the Daniel Jones Haters Club, but we're in the club, just
yeah.
But no. I understand the play 100%. As we turn to, postseason action right now, NBA going on, lots of fun that we saw last night on the court. Tonight coming up, the Boston Celtics are a 14-point favorite over Miami. We've got the Clippers getting 3 at home without Kawhi against the Mavericks. I don't know if you have a side total. I know that you do have a prop bet, though, coming into tonight. What are you looking at?
I like this one. I like Luka, at least 5 3-pointers. You're getting plus 145 on here. I know Luka said, he's tired of letting his teammates and letting Kyrie down for his poor 3-point shooting. In Dallas, those 2 games, he was only 4 of 23 in game 3 and 4 from long range. But I think in LA, pivotal game 5, Luka shows up, especially from long range. And in LA versus the Clippers, he has made at least 5 3-pointers in 5 of his last 6 games there. And you're getting a nice price again at plus 145. Luka to show up big time in LA tonight, at least 5-3.
And then you like the Nuggets to win the next series in 6 games or less. Tell us why.
Yeah, you know what? I like the Nuggets. Not only I like them minus 4.5 in game 1, but I like them in the series as well. I mean, look, Minnesota, very impressive versus Phoenix, but the Suns are super soft inside the paint. The Nuggets are not. Jokic and Gordon versus Cat and Gobert is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I feel that Denver prevails. These two met in the first round last year. Denver won 4-1. They won that game by 29 points in game 1. And in the Western Conference semifinals last year, Denver won game 1 versus Phoenix by 18 and won that going away in 6. A lot of times the underdog tanks in game 1 in the situation, has a better performance in game 2. I think that's where we're looking here between Minnesota and Denver. Denver wins game 1. They cover the 4.5. They win the series as well. I just think, and I do like 6 because Minnesota, listen, take nothing away from Anthony Edwards. He's been fantastic. I think he's going to have a fantastic series as well. But ultimately, Denver prevails and gets to the Western Conference Finals.
30 seconds, Harry. You're also dabbling in the NHL tonight. Oilers, a potential closeout game against the Kings, and there's a prop you like there too?
Yeah, sure. Listen, when you talk about the Oilers, you probably think when it comes to their offense, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, maybe even thinking Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. But I'm going to go with Oilers' Zach Hyman to score a goal at plus 120. Hyman led the Oilers in goals in the regular season, leads them with 6 goals in 4 playoff games so far this season. He scored 3 of the 4 games against LA, and that includes a hat trick in game 1. Zach Hyman to get a goal tonight at plus 120.
Harry, you're awesome. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Great work,
always,
Harry.
Guys, take care. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Travel safe to Vegas this weekend. Again, check out the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club later on this weekend for the Kentucky Derby. The Oilers, by the way, a near $2 favorite tonight against the Kings in Game 5. The Golden Knights, a plus 135 dog in Dallas. We'll be right back, closing things out on the Lombardi Line.
This is the Lombardi Line with former NFL executive Michael Lombardi. Now here is your host, Stormy Bonatoni, on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Don't miss out on any of the NBA postseason action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From now through the finals, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and more. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use our code VSiN, V-S-I-N. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's only on VSiN and DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Maybe a stupid one, but I'm just spitballing here.
Can it make you say why not? That wasn't a stupid question.
It's time for Why Not Wednesday.
I mean, why not?
You know when they say it's so crazy it just might work?
All right, Michael, with the draft now in the rear view, we already have crops up in different rookie markets, whether it be rookie passing yards leader, passing yards in general, touchdowns, the list goes on. But we also have it in the awards market. So can you say why not to Byron Murphy, who you had in your, we didn't call it a mock draft, but what you would have done. You had him as your first defensive player off the board when we were going through this last week and what you liked. Could you say why not to Byron Murphy, the Seattle Seahawks, to win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Why not? That's an easy one. That's a slam dunk. I mean, that one's like jumping on an 8-foot rim. I mean, that's easy. Heck yeah, I love this kid. And I love that they're going to improve that Seattle defense, which was not good against the run, which really struggled, especially when he plays in the Pacific Northwest with crowd noise. I think this is a really good player. I think John Schneider and Chris Ballard, two guys that benefited from the run on offensive players, got two of the best defensive players in the draft.
And we talked earlier about the coaching change in Seattle with Mike McDonald now running the ship. Like, he's going to want to develop and get the most out of those players on defense. Again, 13-1 the price. Dallas Turner is your favorite in the market at 4-1, followed by Leatu Latu 7-1, Quinyon Mitchell at 10-1. How about in the offensive rookie of the year market? While Caleb Williams is, to the surprise of no one, the favorite after being drafted in probably the best situation for a number 1 overall pick that I can at least remember, Bo Nix is also likely going to be a starter this year for the Denver Broncos. He's available at 16-1. Could you say why not to Bo Nix, Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I mean, you got to be on a roll. The only reason I would say why not is the odds are really good, and we know he's going to start. And if he gets injured, then he won't start 17. But they're going all in on. They put all their chips in the middle of the table. They KGB'd on this one here completely, right? And so they're splattering the pot with their chips. And if he has a decent year, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, look, his prop number at 3,000 yards, it's 500 less than what Wilson threw for last year, and Wilson didn't throw it up the field very often, and Wilson missed 2 games. I mean, Jarrett Stidham threw for 500 yards in those 2 games. So there's 4,000 yards out of the starting quarterback position, and we know Sean was calling more runs than passes. I say why not easily to this one.
7th on the odds board. Williams, again, your favorite at plus 200, followed by Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jaden Daniels at plus 600 and plus 650, respectively. Now, every year during the draft, Michael, we get the viral moments of the players' girlfriends, right? Whether it's CeeDee Lamb and his 2 phones, or Russell Wilson's now ex-wife with the set for life memes that we've seen. Even Olu Fashanu in this year's draft, kind of the mom stiff-arming the girlfriend to an extent. I don't know if she meant to, but, things happen here. Well, it raised an interesting conversation on social media this week, and I saw my buddy Eric McLean from ESPN talking to fellow ESPNer Kelly Gramlich on the subject, talking about the parents getting the hugs and all of that first. The quote is, "I'm just saying, no ring, no couch. If we're not at that point, you, talking about the girlfriends, could be gone tomorrow." So are you in agreement? Could you say why not? Establishing a standard in these situations to only wives and blood relatives on the couch for these draft parties needs to happen.
Yeah, because I think it's a little bit why not, right? Because I think you don't want to be, if you break up, you don't want to have the greatest moment of your professional career ruined by somebody you have to kind of ice out. Now, I know Google and all these iPhones have the ability to take people out, like George Costanza when he was on the beach. Remember that? When he had to kind of put him out. But I agree. I think, to me, the 2 things that drive me crazy at the draft are all the hugs by the fiance who's not going to be there, who may be or may not be there, right?
Yeah.
And then when you know who you're picking and everybody hugs in the draft room. Like, I don't, like, why did Washington need all those hugs? I didn't know. Like, why? We knew we were picking Jaden Daniels 2 months ago, and we knew we were going to get him. Like, why do we have to hug on that? I get hugging when you don't know who the hell you're going to get. I'm not against a good hug.
Yeah.
Nor am I against a girlfriend being involved. But, I mean, to me, this is a moment that's going to be recorded. You don't want a bad memory in that recording.
Like the Minnesota Vikings getting Dallas Turner and the reaction from O'Connell in that moment. Yeah, let's hug it out. This is cool. We didn't think that we were going to get a guy this far down in the draft. I did this after Bo Nix because he is married, right? He's like, his wife can be wherever she wants to be. She's going to be in the family photos forever. Right. But you're dead on. The girlfriend's like Will Levis's girlfriend, who they broke up 2 months after the draft last year. Those moments are going to live in infamy now, and that's what you have. Okay, love that. Let's get no ring, no couch trending every April from here on out. In the NBA, Please. Michael, The Milwaukee Bucks, somehow, some way, despite no Damian Lillard, no Giannis Antetokounmpo, they beat the Pacers last night by 23 points and get themselves back in this series down 3-2. Can they keep it up? Could you say why not to them finishing the series and ultimately beating Indiana at 6-1?
I could say why not to that. Look, they had a chance in game 4, right, to beat the Pacers on their own court, and Portis gets thrown out of the game, and Middleton did some incredible things to get them back and get them into overtime, and they lose that game. So why not? I mean, I don't think this is one of those where Indiana's the most dominant team, in spite of the fact that Milwaukee's missing 2 of their big-time players. So why not? I mean, look, Indiana's going to have to play their best to beat them. Because one thing I do know about young teams, there's in a 7-game series, there's a level you've got to get to. You've got to raise yourself as the series continues to go on. Tonight, which is going to make the Clippers Mavericks game so much fun to watch, is because this is going to be that Luka is going to play at a higher level, which is going to cause everybody else to play. There's levels you've got to get to. It's not plays, it's players now. Everybody knows the players, 5 down, 3 up. Everybody knows the plays. But the players have to raise their game. I think Milwaukee certainly could. I don't know if Indy knows how to.
Okay. The Chicago Bears, coming off years of mediocrity and worse in recent history, had a 7-10 year ago, but because the defense stepped up as well as it did last season, Matt Eberflus keeps his job, and they've got a lot of talent to work with on offense if the defense continues to improve, which has led to some high expectations for the Chicago Bears, having drafted Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze in the top 10. Could you say why not to this Bears team coming out here and winning the division in the NFC North? Plus 265 is the price.
No, I can't, because I think it's hard to close. I think there's really good teams in the North. Green Bay's an improved team. Getting Morgan to be a left tackle, that's a huge get for them if he can come in and start. I think Green Bay's done a nice job in free agency, and we think Jordan Love's only going to get better. We're not sure what offense they're going to run in Chicago. Is Chicago's offensive line good enough? I don't know. And I think Detroit, I thought Detroit was interesting in where they all wore the jerseys of the tight end that the 49ers try to sign as solidarity to their team. I think this Detroit team is connected. And I don't think their appetites are going to get spoiled by the contracts that St. Brown received or the contract that Sewell received. I think there's still an appetite there, and they're a good team. And they didn't lose any of their coaches, right? They didn't lose Ben Johnson. And now Goff will get a contract. Maybe it's not what he wants or the best, but I like this Detroit. I think the competition, this is not a knock on Chicago. Whereas the AFC South, it wasn't, Lawrence got hurt. Indy lost their quarterback, right? Tennessee was playing a rookie. That wasn't a good division last year for Houston to take advantage of.
I'm with you. The Lions are the rightful favorite here at plus 150. And let's not forget about the Green Bay Packers should Jordan Love pick up where he left off this past season. A tremendous first year starting for him in Green Bay. So a lot of competition there in the NFC North. Last thing, 30 seconds here. Our guy Harry Gagnan said he's taken the under on Malik Neighbors' receiving yards. Could you say why not at plus 550 for him to have the most regular season rookie receiving yards? Could you go against Harry, Michael?
No, because I think Harrison's going to get the ball. Drew Petzik's a good offensive coordinator, and they have a better quarterback. As much as I'm not a Kyler Murray fan, Kyler Murray will get Harrison the ball. And Harrison will catch a lot of passes, and he'll get a lot of yards. Unless he's injured, I think Neighbors is going to have a hard time because, one, it's going to be hard to protect. And who is the quarterback? I mean, everybody's talking about the word now. Well, somebody just said that we think that Daniel Jones is going to face competition from Locke. Well, we know that's true. Locke went there to give him competition.
Daniel Jeremiah said, I believe Drew Lock has got a really good shot at winning that job. Could you say why not to Drew Lock being the day one starter in New York this year?
Why not? Why not? I could say why not to that because I'm not a Daniel Jones fan, just like you aren't. I mean, he has had ample opportunity.
I honestly meant to ask that as our first question in Why Not Wednesday, and I got so into our open and I was vibing that I skipped it on my sheet of paper. So I'm glad we squeezed it in. Credit you, Michael. You're our new producer extraordinaire. Have a great day. We'll see y'all later on.